Another exciting episode of Speculative Tolkienism.
All right. Well, we're at a momentous occasion. We have reached the halfway point of the Lord of the Rings.
Well, almost. After this.
Well, after this, we've come to the end of Book 3, the Palantir, Chapter 11.
Right. Is it Palantir or Palantir? I would say Palantir.
Actually, when I was little, I probably said Planeteer or something wrong.
Yeah.
Something more obviously
because it's round. It's like a round marble.
It's a round marble. But there was actually a moment right at the beginning here where I was like, really? Right at the, so Gandalf is walking with Merry, but why all the secrecy? I think that's Merry, yeah. Why all the secrecy? I thought we'd won the battle.
Right.
And then Gandalf replies this. He says, yes, we have won, but only the first victory, and that in itself increases our danger. There was some link between Isengard and Mordor, which I have not yet fathomed. How they exchanged news, I am not sure, but they did so. The Eye of Barad-dûr will be looking impatiently towards the Wizard's Vale, I think, towards Rohan. The less it sees, the better. You know where I'm going with this?
That he doesn't know that he has a Palantir. Ish?
Well, my point is, wouldn't he already assume that he has a Palantir? Because, he finds a cell phone in the hands of his enemy, and he's like, Saruman.
This guy plays Candy Crush Saga a lot.
Saruman's been playing Candy Crush. No, there must have been some link between Saruman and Mordor, and I just found Saruman dropped his cell phone. I wonder what that link might have been between Saruman and... You know what I mean?
Because I was thinking, just while you're going through this whole spiel, I was thinking, it's like, so maybe Gandalf didn't, they could have argued that he didn't know what he had. He could have suspected, right?
Okay.
But he said to... Oh, I can't remember who he said it to. He's like, of all the things inside of Orthanc, there probably wouldn't be a more precious thing thrown out the window. You know what I'm saying?
So he's already said that.
Yeah, he did say that. So he knew what he had, and then
so I think you're almost bolstering the point I was going to make.
That's what I'm saying.
If he suspects he has this Palantir, then obviously that would have been the link.
But the Palantir is not they're made for seeing, right, all over the place. Mm-hmm. And Gandalf probably does not believe that Sauron has a Palantir yet, or he doesn't know if he has one or not.
Right.
Because he did go down and say, obviously Sauron must have the Palantir from Minas Ithil, which became Minas Morgul, right?
That's what I was thinking. Wouldn't Gandalf had known that there was a Palantir in Minas Ithil, and that since Sauron took over Minas Ithil, then by now kind of a long time ago, right?
Yeah, but not necessarily. I mean, it could have been lost. It could have been...
But somewhere at the bottom of the Anduin, obviously there's one in Orthanc. And it's probably still there to this day.
But he would probably assume that Gandalf assumed that Saruman was looking all over the country, or all around the land with the Palantir, not knowing that it was just stuck in Mordor. That's the only thing I can think of.
Right. But the other thing is he's Gandalf saying just now, there must be some link between Isengard and Mordor.
Right.
But he already knew that. Didn't he know that Saruman must have been in touch with Sauron, because in the story that Gandalf told in the Council of Elrond,
yes,
didn't he say I think Saruman is basically in league with Sauron now because he counseled us to... Am I imagining this?
No. He knew that Sauron was in league, or Saruman was in league with Sauron, but again, like I see what you're saying, and I do. While I do agree with you that, like, duh, Gandalf, you should have known. It's really not that far of a stretch to think that like, he can suspect, but
Right.
he wouldn't know for sure. You
But
know,
you're right. Until so it's this is placed rather conspicuously right here. This moment where he's saying, I wonder what the link was." Whereas
right?
he just found like a Palantir in the puddle,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and he's
No,
like,
but
I wonder what the link was. I have this like phone with texts to Sauron like all down. He's
well,
like blowing up his phone
he
all the time.
he would not know for sure. He probably
Right.
suspected. He would not know
Right.
for sure. So
Until
until Pippin looked into it, in
Pippin. So
which
this is
case,
setting up like, hey, I wonder what the link is. To me, it seems a little conspicuous for Tolkien. I think Tolkien's a little bit more subtle usually, but
right,
he
right,
had basically here he is reminding the reader that, hey, there must be this link between Saruman and Sauron, right before Pippin kind of makes that link very explicit and
yes.
shows the world like, hey, this is a direct hotline to Sauron. And it's funny that it being a seeing stone and all, like, what is Sauron but just a one big eye? So it's
Well,
like,
here's something interesting though. Something interesting that I wish Jackson would have done done it differently in the Lord of the Rings, because they didn't. It when Pippin looked into the Palantir,
mhm,
right? Um, there was he saw Sauron. He saw it wasn't an eye. It wasn't like he saw the Nazgul flying towards him.
right.
Like he saw Barad-dûr, and then he like he like saw like the shape of Sauron. He never. It wasn't like, oh, there's this eye. You
Wait,
know what I'm
wait. So
talking
you're
about?
saying that you'll have to jog my memory, but like I thought I remembered seeing the eye, the like cat's eye in flame in that globe.
In the Jackson version, in
Right.
this version, in the book version, he doesn't see the
The
eye. I
eye.
mean, he sees actually like he sees Barad-dûr, he sees the Nazgul flying around Barad-dûr,
Mm.
right? And then
Mhm.
one of the Nazgul flies towards the lens, for lack of a better term, and then it kind of blacks out
Right.
the vision, and then you see the silhouette or whatever of Sauron. I mean, find can you find where Pippin is actually looking
Yeah.
into the
So the
yeah.
middle of 774. This is Sauron now in his voice
Yes.
saying, "So you have come back. Why have you neglected to report for so long?" So basically, what I'm seeing here is Sauron getting a phone call
Yeah.
From Saruman's planet Palantir, and he doesn't realize that it's a hobbit on the other end of the line, and he's thinking it's Saruman, and Sauron's like, "Yo, what's up? It's Sauron. Why haven't you been calling me?"
Right, right. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
but here right here, but I thought there were 9 of them. One began to fly straight towards me, getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It had a horrible no, I can't say. I tried to get away because I thought it would fly out. But when it had covered all the globe, it disappeared. Then he came. He did not speak so that I could hear words. He just looked and I understood. Basically, like it was mental, like it was like telepathy or
Yeah,
whatever.
telepathy. Right. That's
But
fine.
I mean, like I said, it wasn't to me like there's this cat's eye that
Right. He would have
whatever.
said that.
Right, right.
Right.
So I honestly I think that it could have been a lot creepier if they would have like and a lot more I think dramatic
Mm.
if they would have kind of if Jackson would have filmed this scene the way that it was written. You know what I'm talking about?
Right. So I always thought that, and correct me if I'm wrong. What you're saying now is you're kind of a fan of the anthropomorphic Sauron, like you like the human form Sauron, and
Or yeah,
when he's
yeah,
just an eye. I mean, because he's represented by an eye, but
yeah.
it's debatable, because again, this is gets into some deeper lore, and I've heard different things, and I don't want to say anything wrong, but at some point during his many shapeshiftings throughout history, Sauron took various forms, and then he became a human form. But at some point, didn't he just become a lidless eye ringed in flame or something like that? Not to say that that's how he now is supposed to be, like that's the form he takes now.
That man, I maybe I like. Here's the thing. It's like it seems to me like that it was described somewhere, but that it's that I've dug a little bit deeper, and that's not correct. You know what I'm
Right.
talking about?
I can't remember, but it seems like, and I think this corroborates what you're saying, because it seems like if that were the case, if Sauron, visually speaking, were only an eyeball, like an eye, like a cat's eye
Mhm.
or a feline eye,
Or
that
yeah, yeah,
that's
whatever.
what
Yeah,
Pippin would say. Pippin would say, "He came, I saw him. He was just an eye."
yeah.
Like that. Wouldn't you? Don't
It
you
was
think
just a
he would
big
say something
lidless
like?
eye.
Yeah, but it's almost creepier to think that it's him. He doesn't even describe him, which is kind of creepy. Like,
Yeah,
how does he know it's him? I mean, obviously Pippin has never met him,
yeah.
but he must
But
just sense that it must be this, the most menacing creature on the planet is on the other end of this call, and I'm just dumbfounded. Like he doesn't know what to
yeah,
say.
and honestly, like Pippin, like what's interesting about this is like out of all of the companions, with the exception of maybe Gandalf um, and then I mean obviously Galadriel and Elrond, Pippin is like the only mortal being that has actually seen Sauron. That like one of the good guys, like one of the good
Right,
mortals
right,
that have
and live to
actually
tell the
seen him.
tale.
Yeah,
Yeah. The other thing that struck me here is this great moment where it's like, then suddenly he seemed to see me, so he realized, oh, this is not
yeah,
Sauron, it is this little hobbit, and he seemed to see me, and he laughed at me. It was cruel. It was like being stabbed with knives.
yeah,
It was like ha 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 ha. I could just imagine like laughter so menacing and cruel that it's like you feel it like a stab of a knife. It's just,
yeah.
yeah.
And then the thing is like right, like well, he was like said. Then he gloated over me. Like you can see, like tell Sauron, yeah, like this whole conversation is like the only time I think that Sauron actually speaks to anybody in
Yeah,
this.
this is like his big moment. This is the
Yeah,
like he's been cast in this major role, and these are his only lines.
this is Halbrand's cameo.
Yeah, this is Halbrand's cameo. Uh,
But I felt that was like an interesting, like because you don't think about it, but yeah, this is like the only time that you ever see
and
Sauron.
and he's got quite a personality, because he says, "Tell Saruman that this dainty is not for him." That word "dainty" is so
Yeah,
cool, because it's like dainty is like something easily squished, but it's also
yeah,
something you eat.
yeah, or like this little treat.
Yeah,
Ooh,
it's like it's a
ooh,
treat. It's like
it's like an
if
appetizer.
something's, yeah, it's an appetizer. It's like, oh, I'll just gobble you up this little dainty. It'll
Oh
go
yeah,
down
it's
good
a
with some
nice mouth,
Chianti.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But and it's like while I was reading this chapter, I just felt like that like when you start thinking about it in terms of that, I was kind of like ooh, kind of getting shivers and stuff like that. It's pretty cool, you know.
Totally, yeah. But then it gets even shiverier, because like basically Gandalf is like, um he did not want information only, he wanted you quickly so that he
Yeah,
could deal with you in the dark tower slowly.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I
like,
mean, how jacked up is that? You know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
And then he
But
says, "Don't shudder." Like obviously Pippin shudders. Don't
yeah,
shudder. If you meddle in the affair of wizards, you must prepare to think of such things.
right, right.
But so
But
let's speculate again, since as is the title of our show. Let's speculate if, let's say, I mean, first of all, the idea here I thought was that Sauron would immediately send the Nazgul to Orthanc, pick up Pippin in their claws and fly back to
yeah,
Barad-dûr to be like,
yeah.
you know,
Put him in a gunny sack.
put him in a gunny sack and then tie him to the rack,
Yeah.
and
Hey,
then one
basically give him the
turn,
Gollum treatment.
yeah, put him on the comfy chair,
Yeah, and poke him with the soft cushions.
poke him with the soft cushions. But I mean, we can speculate what kind of tortures would poor Pippin have to endure at the hand of
Okay, but
Sauron.
before we get into that, though, before we get into that,
Okay, good.
I'd like to talk about the fact that this kind of threw Sauron for a loop because
Yeah.
because is this the Hobbit that had the ring? Is this the ring bearer? Because he didn't answer any of that stuff. He like Sauron like could have been like, "Hey, do you have the ring? Do you know where the ring is?" He could have interrogated him right there,
He
then
should
and there.
have.
He
He
well,
should
yeah,
have. And I'm wondering why he didn't. Because
right,
I
but
think if he bent his will on poor Pippin, he probably could have just extracted all that information from his little mind.
honestly, it probably would have taken about 30 seconds. You know
Or
what I'm
3 seconds.
saying? I know.
Like, tell me what you know.
Yeah, but like
But it
now
seems. Go ahead.
but now, like the Sauron's saying, like, oh, wait a minute, does this Hobbit have the ring? Does Saruman have the ring? Where's the ring? Now that they have the Hobbit, and obviously it's been captured by Saruman,
Yeah.
like so. This is like this is what makes the when Aragorn takes a Palantir and challenges Sauron. This is what this set up that whole
Right.
thing, because now it's like, oh my god, this guy has the ring. Like the
Right.
Erebor Elendil has the ring, and he's going to come and try to take me out.
Right. Right. It seems
So
like if speculating, if Sauron, it seems like he would have said to Pippin, like, "Hey, put Saruman on the phone.
yeah,
I'm. I need to
get
talk.
Saruman on the horn right now.
I need to talk to him." And then Saruman, obviously, he's not there right now, but like in Sauron's mind, you know, this is all in Orthanc. This is taking like
Yeah,
it's taking place at the other end of his Palantir call is Orthanc, and there's Saruman and this little bitty hobbit chained to a wall, and
yeah,
he's like, and he would say, "Hey, Saruman, you've gotten a halfling. Um, what the hell are you trying to do? You didn't tell me this.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah,
are you
yeah.
trying to do stuff behind my back? Are you trying to find the ring and keep it for yourself? I'm sending my ring wraiths over to pick this guy up, and you better give him to me, or else I'm declaring war on you."
Right,
I
right.
mean,
But the interesting thing is that like he doesn't know what Saruman had, like what is like where he went, because now like all communication has been cut off. You know,
right, right.
so
The line went dead.
the line went dead, and then now, but again, like speculating, like now he um I think obviously he knows that the ring wasn't claimed by anybody, because he would feel that, right?
Probably would
Sauron,
feel it. Yeah.
I
The other
guess.
thing I noticed about this chapter is like it's probably one of the only times that I can see, and of course it's going to be Pippin. Him being the kind of the youngest and the most immature, I guess,
Yeah,
where someone is actually tempted to do something almost wicked
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and gives in because like other than Frodo in the ring when he gets tempted to put on the ring and spoiler alert, at the very end in Mount Doom he gets tempted by the ring in a big way. We
Right.
won't go into that, but like other than that you don't get a whole lot of moments where there's temptations and the person kind of knows that there's a wickedness that's tempting you and they give in.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other than
Well,
Boromir and
yeah,
Pippin right here.
yeah, and Boromir like kind of came back to his senses, but I mean that could be argued that the ring was now out of range, and then the immediate sphere of
Right.
influence
It's like, oh,
went
it's okay
away.
to repent now that the ring's not
Yeah, now
around.
that the ring's gone. But but the other thing is though too, like is that the Palantir are not inherently evil. They're not like this whole.
Right. Not to say that they're evil themselves, but I think Pippin knew it would have been wrong to like
But
basically, take something that Gandalf has claimed and replace it with a rock
but
and
but
wander
but
off
there's
and
some
kind of
yeah, but there's something more at play here, because the temptation was like the temptation of the ring,
yeah.
So, I mean, again, it was it like was that like kind of inherently part of the Palantir, Like, I can't imagine it. Or
I
what
don't
is
think
it? Sauron's.
originally they were
I
used
think
for
it's
dark
Sauron's
purposes.
influence on that.
Right, right. I'm sure it was. But Gandalf talks about it like it is almost a temptation, like like a temptation to steal money or a temptation to do something sexual or something. Like I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
But Gandalf says if your hands start itching again, let me know, because like there's like wizard magic that I can do to make your hands
yeah,
stop
yeah.
itching, and you won't be tempted with such temptations again.
And to kind of jump down to the bottom of this page now that we're kind of past the Pippin thing, um, where Gandalf says, "I think he would like when they're talking about Pippin. I think all will be well now. He was not held long, and hobbits have an amazing power of recovery. The memory or the horror of it will probably fade quickly, too quickly, perhaps. Will you, Aragorn, take the Orthanc stone and guard it? It is a dangerous charge." And then Aragorn is like, dangerous indeed, but not to all. There are those. There is one who may claim it, and like basically he's like saying, "No, yeah, this is my stone now." You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Again, the difference between the Jackson version of Aragorn and this one is like Aragorn's like, "Yep, I'm ready."
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. He's
I'm
like,
ready.
this is my birthright. It's mine, basically. You know.
Yeah, and like now my hour draws near. I will take it. And it's
Right.
just kind of
Without all the like, am I ready for this? I don't know.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, I'm ready for this. Give me, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me,
Give me the stone.
give me the stuff. Give me everything."
Cool.
Yeah. So, do you want to speculate about how like what kind of horrors Pippin
Oh yeah.
might have gone?
What kind of horrors would be visited upon poor Pippin, other than the
Oh
soft chair
man,
and the soft cushion, the
this
comfy
yeah,
chair?
comfy chair and soft cushions. Um, dude, I don't know, man. Um, whatever it was, it would have lasted. Honestly, man, like how instead of saying how long could he last, right? It's
Yeah, you
like
wouldn't
how soon would he have spilled the beans? I mean, it would have been like,
immediately.
yeah, he would have walked in the castle and be like, you know what? Frodo has the ring. We're gonna try to destroy it in Mount Doom. Just let me go.
It's almost like he wouldn't have even had to torture him. He would have just
Yeah.
had to kind of like do a little bit of a Vulcan mind meld magic, or just suck it out of his little pea brain.